Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Sharsharet's Shalom Shabbat program. I'm Melissa Rosen, Director of Training and Education at Sharsharet, and I'm happy to say that you'll not only hear from me today, but some of my wonderful colleagues. You know what? Thank you for joining us again. This is our quarterly program, and we're always grateful during these Shalom Shabbats for an opportunity to reconnect, to recenter, and I'm so glad we're together today. Of course, I begin with housekeeping, and I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors of today's program, Daiichi Sankyo and the Cooperative Agreement 1906 from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. You were muted as you entered today's program. Please stay on mute so that we can clearly hear today's presenters. And as always, this program will be recorded. No faces or names will be shown on the recording other than those of the presenters, but if you wish an additional level of privacy, you can turn your video off now, and you have the option to do that on the left of your screen. But you could also choose to rename yourself if you prefer to remain anonymous. And those instructions are in the chat box now. We also now have closed captioning available, which I'm excited to share. And the instructions on how to activate closed captioning for your computer just went into the chat box. You will be notified when the recording and transcript of today's program is posted on the Sharsharet website. Please feel free to share that link with anyone who you think might enjoy the program. So today, we're going to talk about the holidays, about Chagim. We are fortunate as a Jewish community to have many holidays to celebrate. We have Shabbat each week, and of course, some of the biggies, right? Passover, Rosh Hashanah, even Hanukkah. But Judaism also has some lesser known holidays and commemorations. Many of us know that Purim is toward the end of March this year. Purim commemorates the saving of the Jewish people from Haman and King Achashverosh during 5th century Persia. But it turns out that this year on the Jewish calendar is a holiday called Purim Katan, Little Purim. My colleague Erin will speak in a bit more about this little or lesser known holiday. But before she does, I wanted to share with you a beautiful idea I heard on a Jewish podcast recently. The host was discussing how difficult things are for members of the Jewish community now. And he reminded us that this is not the first time we face seemingly insurmountable challenges. But during those difficult times, it is helpful to have something to look forward to. And historically, Jews have never had to wait more than 7 days for something to smile about. Of course, we're speaking about Shabbat, a day of rest, of celebration, of spirituality, really a day when we can gather strength for whatever comes in the week ahead. And that is true however we mark Shabbat. As soon as I heard this, it impacted me. Imagine knowing whatever we are facing, whether it's cancer, family issues, work concerns, or a world filled with prejudice and anti-Semitism, that at least once a week, we have the opportunity to experience joy and comfort. Well, it turns out that Purim Katan, which is actually celebrated today is Purim Katan, is connected to that idea. And I'm happy to welcome my colleague, Erin Weinreich, our support program coordinator, to share a bit more about Purim Katan.
Hi, everybody. So nice to see new faces and old faces. And thank you so much, Melissa, for that intro and sharing that beautiful idea with us. So I just wanted to share also a little bit about Purim Katan, little or mini Purim. And during, it's not always that we have a little Purim. It falls out usually during a Jewish leap year, which happens to be this year. And we celebrate, like Melissa mentioned, Purim Katan, which literally translates to little Purim. If it wasn't a leap year, Jews across the world would be celebrating the joyous day of Purim today. But since it is a Jewish leap year, we have an entire month left until we celebrate the actual holiday of Purim. So our sages created what we call Little Purim in order for us to celebrate what we would actually be celebrating on Purim, and not have to wait that entire month to tap into that. Just like we only have to wait 7 days for the joyous day and comfort of Shabbos, our calendar ensures that even during a leap year, we don't have to wait too long to celebrate and feel the joy of Purim. The sages also teach that just like on Purim, we try to increase our joy, so too on Little Purim today. We should increase our joy in some small way. But as we all know, during a cancer diagnosis or any challenge, it can be super hard to experience joy in any shape or form, and especially on days when we're commanded to do so. I don't know about you, but I can relate to that. In just a bit, you're going to hear from my colleague, Gloria, about the idea of wearing masks on Purim. We sometimes wear masks out of necessity or because we think we must, but the idea of Little Purim really helps us understand that whether we're wearing masks or not, we have the ability, if we can, to tap into finding that joy at any time that we need it. Melissa, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You know, I love those insights, and it is amazing to me that in the wisdom there were created these opportunities. Like, that's how important joy is to our life. So thank you. Now I want to introduce you to our special guest for today. We are so lucky to have her with us. Cantor Elizabeth Kirstein is the cantorial soloist at Temple Ahavat Shalom in Northridge, California. As the cantorial soloist, she leads the music for the high holidays, Shabbat services, life cycle events. She trains B'nai Mitzvah and religious school students. She directs the adult and children's choirs and helps to lead synagogue programming alongside Rabbi Becky Hoffman. Prior to the beginning of her cantorial career, Elizabeth was a classical singer and music teacher. She sung with the Baltimore, Diego, and Santa Barbara opera choruses, and she was the alto soloist at Temple Sinai and Temple Judea in LA and Chizuk Emuno in Baltimore. From 2018 to 2021, Elizabeth was on the voice faculty at the California School for the Arts, San Gabriel Valley, where she conducted the middle school chorus and taught classes through a partnership with Citrus College. She also ran a mentorship program with training high schoolers to teach music to elementary schoolers. Oh, I love that. An LA native, Elizabeth studied voice at Peabody Conservatory and St. Olaf College. She spent summers studying modern Hebrew and immersion at Middlebury Language Schools. And she is currently a cantorial student at AJRCA. She lives in Sherman Oaks with her son, Judah, and their cat, Paprika. Welcome so much. I am going to share the screen so that people can see the lyrics to what you are singing. And please take it away.
Thank you, Melissa. That was a very kind intro. You know, I was listening to Erin when she was speaking, and she was saying it's so nice that we have Purim Katan because we don't have to wait for actual Purim. Here we are able to have joy already, and that's really the spirit of Hine Matov as well. When we say Hine, Hineni is this word that we get in our Torah all the time when we say, I am here, I am present. And so we are going to set aside everything but joy as we sing this together. Hine matov u'manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Please join me. Hine matov u'manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim sheverachim gam שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
That was truly beautiful. I feel myself getting more and more excited for Shabbat to begin. Thank you. And you're going to be back in just a minute to share another song. Next, we want to welcome to the screen Gloria Lazarev. Gloria is an MSW student intern who is spending the year with Shar Sharrett, and we're so happy to have her.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for letting me join. It's really such a treat to be here with all of you. So today I'm going to speak about the concept of wearing masks. A long-held tradition of Purim is for those who celebrate to wear masks or costumes if they're really getting into it. The practice stems from the idea that there is so much hidden and so many things that go on behind the scenes or behind the mask, if you will. A mask symbolizes the idea of playing a role and the fact that there are times in life that we may choose to repress ourselves and our emotions in the face of adversity. As one navigates through a cancer diagnosis and treatment, wearing a mask may become the norm, a safe way to present yourself in a time that can feel so overwhelming. The way one wears their mask is different for everyone. One may put on a brave face in front of their children and partner. The other may be all smiles and words of positivity when they are in a room of friends and neighbors. Some may even look in the mirror and prefer to see a masked version of themselves, perhaps a version of you that you believe that you once were before your diagnosis, or perhaps one that you wish you could be as you are going through the thick of this journey. Wearing your mask can some days feel exhausting, while other days you feel like if you did not fake it, you would not make it. Regardless of why, what, or for whom you wear your mask for, that is all okay. It is normal and it is human. While it may sometimes be daunting to take off your mask, the idea of Purim is that there can actually be some hidden joy in those moments. There is so much of ourselves that we repress when wearing masks, and again, that is okay. But there is so much possibility to tap into those strengths and hopes that we did not even know we had within us. The ability to be vulnerable and to acknowledge all that we have gone through and continue to face can be incredibly empowering. Be proud of yourself and all the hurdles you have overcome, even if those moments are on your own and in private. Feeling safe and ready is something that comes at your own pace. There is no race to feel a certain way.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Those were really important insights, and I'm grateful you were able to share them. Now I am going to welcome the cantor back to the screen. She'll be singing one more song with us today.
Thanks, Melissa. So this is going to be a little bit of a meditation. So what I'd like all of you to do, pick the most refreshing color. Whatever color this is for you, could be anything. I want you to close your eyes and just see this color behind your eyelids. We're going to try to be really present, and sometimes we have to give our brains something else to do besides thinking thoughts. So we're going to imagine that this color, every time we breathe in, it rises from our feet, up our bodies, all the way to our heads, and when we exhale, it goes from your head and drains out of your body and out through the bottom of your feet. Let's take a couple of breaths just practicing this. Comfy in your chair, take a deep breath, and let that color rise all the way up your body. And as you exhale, let it all go. Try it again. Deep breath in and out. Let me sing this song of peace for you, and I want you to just keep your eyes closed and breathe that refreshing and peaceful color all the way up your body and then down again every time you exhale. Let everything else drain away. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimeru, ve'yimeru, amen. Say shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimeru, ve'yimeru,
Just beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us today. Your music truly beautified the morning or the afternoon, depending on where we are, for us. So we are grateful to you. Okay. I'm happy now to ask my colleague, Rachel Teicher, Sharsheret's Support Program Manager, to share some practical insights because joy isn't always so easy.
Yes. Hi, everyone. And I also want to thank you again, Elizabeth. I feel like your voice is very calming, so I always feel very relaxed after you sing. So thank you for that before I spoke to everybody. And hi, everybody who joined us. So nice to see you again, for those who are here again, or anybody who's new to the program. Like Melissa said, I really just want to focus on reminding everyone how, of course, it's so uplifting to be together and to hear so many beautiful and inspiring thoughts. And I truly do feel that hearing all these concepts and viewpoints helped change my frame of thought often, or give me a new meaning to both the holidays and Shabbat. And that's the goal we obviously have for all of you. I just want to be fair, obviously, and recognize that as special and wonderful as this all might be, it can also sometimes add a layer of pressure. And we never want you to think that we don't recognize that these are challenging times that you've all been through or are currently going through, because that's so important to face the reality and recognize that. I think the goal of today is 1,000,000% for you to walk away with a smile on your face, but I'd be remiss to not recognize that doing that can be hard sometimes, like everyone has basically touched a little bit on in each of what we've all shared. With the holiday of Purim, we are literally told to be silly and laugh and enjoy, eat, be merry, play, dress up, and that might feel really hard or even impossible sometimes, especially if that's something that you're used to doing, but now it isn't so simple for you, or you're just literally not able to. Going through a cancer diagnosis is hard and frustrating. It often means that many things around you change, especially how you are physically, right? And I want to remind you to give yourself permission for things to be different and to celebrate things in any way that you are able. That also means if you aren't able, that in that moment, that's okay. And I think every idea we've heard is so beautiful, and finding joy is so important. And like everyone has shared in different ways, like it's necessary. You have to when you're going through something hard. again, I just want to remind you that it's really okay to give yourself permission to have your moments and know that you don't have to be able to do that. If you're simply not in the mood to be happy, that's okay. Just as much as it can feel pressured with physical things around us, the emotional battle of putting a smile on our face or acting joyfully can feel even harder at times. I kind of love how this ties into Shabbat or the Sabbath, kind of brings it all together, because we are given the Sabbath each week to rest, to recharge, like we always talk about in these programs. So with that, I want you to recognize how important that is. Give yourself permission to do that. Take a step back, rest, recharge. It's okay to just simply be. Know when you need to cry, scream, laugh, yell, or just be sad, and anything like that. Know that when you can't keep a smile on your face, you're allowed to have your moment, because you are doing so much. You've overcome so much. Every step of this is a lot. You're allowed to knock out the outside pressures of what's happening and do whatever you need. And if that means that you throw a mask on your face and you pretend to feel like something else or someone else for a while to escape, amazing, go for it. And if not, that's okay. But regardless, most importantly, we hope that you have a meaningful and beautiful holiday and Shabbat in any and every way that you can.
What an important reminder. Thank you very much. Okay, so before we conclude, we want your input like we always ask for. Each time we share a Shalom Shabbat program, we've asked you to join us in what we call a waterfall exercise. So today's question is, how do you use your mask? How does it help you? Do you feel joy wearing it? Do you feel joy taking it off? Type your answer into the chat now, but don't hit enter yet. Remember, we're going to count down in a moment, and everybody's going to hit enter at the same time so we can see a waterfall of inspiration on our screens. Okay, let me give you another sec. Okay, 3, 2, 1, enter. Oh, wow. Loving these answers, right? And somebody, I love this. We've taken it on in so many different levels. A lot of people have talked about sort of a mask we use to protect ourselves emotionally, and that some people spoke about a mask they wear physically, right? I don't like unmasked, but I need to wear one now for immunity, right? We've all had experiences, more experiences than we've ever wanted with masks in the last few years. Some people say it makes me feel safe having it on, so I don't need to pretend I'm okay, right? I hide anxiety, but sometimes that just adds to pressure. I hide so my family worries less. I think we all feel a little bit of that. To escape for just a bit. You know what? Positives and negatives. The mask helps us sometimes, and that's so important to remember. Okay. As we conclude, I want to thank our sponsors once more, Daiichi Sankyo and the Cooperative Agreement 1906 of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A special thank you to Cantor Elizabeth Kirstein for joining us. Your voice added so much to today's program. And to my wonderful colleagues, Rachel, Erin, and Gloria, who shared beautiful insights with us today. Of course, I want to remind you that Sharsheret is here for you. Our social workers are available to answer questions, to provide support, to connect you to resources, to be a sounding board if you need to vent. And you can reach our social workers through the address that's in the chat box right now, which is clinicalstaff@sharsheret.org. I also wanted to let you know that next week on the 28th, we are hosting our annual peer support training webinar. If you are interested in serving as a peer supporter or looking for other ways to support those impacted by cancer, please consider joining us. The registration link is in the box right now. And waiting for that registration link to go in so that you see it. Okay. Finally, there's a brief link to an evaluation survey in the box right now. There we go. That's for the peer support training webinar. And the next thing that's being posted is a brief link, a link to a very brief survey. So please take a second to help us improve future programs. And I want to thank you again for joining us. Please don't wait too long to experience joy. Even the anticipation of joy has a positive impact. Thank you again, and Shabbat Shalom.